You're live.
At least two games on the MLB card tonight have the wrong team favored. Who are they? You're going to find that out right here on First Pitch. But first, let's welcome in my man, Drew Martin. He wants to talk the Tigers and Rays game here. Let's take a look at Skubal trying to stay hot on the mound here and visiting the Rays. You think that the road team could be worth a look, even opposing a Florida side for you, brother. Drew, how's it going, man? And how are you breaking down this game?
Yeah, Dan, had this one circled for a little bit here. Skubal, the lefty, on the hill for the Tigers. And get him near the pick'em price tag. Minus 115, just paying a little price here. 26-5 strikeout to walk ratio for the southpaw. And in his only road start, he went 6 innings, 0 earned runs given up, 0 walks. So pitching some good baseball there. Outside of the Motor City, have him as bet on. And really, Dan, it's nothing against Littell, the starter for the Rays. He's actually been good, but the strength of opponent, like the opposition's lineup, he's faced the Angels twice and the Colorado Rockies. So those are the only 2 lineups he's faced in April. Sure. So I think he's taking a step up going against the Tigers offense. And really, it comes down to the later innings, Dan. I mean, we get the number 1 bullpen out the gate this season in the Detroit Tigers. They've been surprising this year, making some money. And this Rays pin is not what we've come accustomed to over the last couple of years. A really good bullpen? No, not so much. They're bottom 5 by my numbers. So even though it's in Tropicana, we're having to pay a short price here on the Tigers as the favorite. I think it's too short. Give me Detroit. They're 8-3 on the road already this season. I think they make it 9-3 tonight. I like the Tigers.
Nice start to the year for them, for sure. Drew thinks they're getting on the road and getting it done here in Game 1. That one goes at 650. Hop below in the comments and let us know how you're looking to bet that one. Also, let us know which road dogs you think might be barking today. That one, a case of a road favorite. And Drew saying the right team favored in that one. My man, Mark Zinno, you must knock out the memo that Drew was rocking the Marlins lid on here because you want to talk the Bravos. You can't tell me we're laying minus 200 on the Braves here today. So we have to find another way to bet them. You think the run line might be the play?
Well, yeah. I mean, look, these 2 teams played last week. I backed Atlanta in Miami to cover the 1.5, and it got home. Now, dating back to the latter part of 2021, guys, the Braves are 29-12 straight up against Miami. Only 3 of those wins were by 1 run. So 26 of the 29 wins were by 2 runs or more. So basically the math here is that the Braves win big or Miami wins outright. And that's the kind of methodology I'm going here with. And the Braves have won a lot more against the Marlins than they've lost, 44-23 since the beginning of the 2020 season. That's 65.7%. Atlanta starts Bryce Elder making his first start of the year. He's done well against Miami in his short career, 7 starts, 40 innings with a 3.3 ERA, 40 strikeouts. Now, I don't expect him to go long in this game, because it's his first start. They'll probably be pretty cautious. I'd be surprised if he even gets to 5. But the Braves bullpen is well rested. And the feather in their pocket here, I know it's always tough to bet the 1.5 with the home team because they may only get 8 at-bats, but the Marlins bullpen is bad. Bottom 5 in ERA, bottom 5 in WHIP, and they've allowed the most hits on the year with 97. So, I think the Braves bats, after being silenced last Sunday Night Baseball, they're back home again. Nice home crowd. We get a nice better weather turnout than the rain that was all in Atlanta yesterday. We get a little more warmth. Ball might be flying out of Truist Park here. Braves should score a bunch of runs here and cover this 1.5. At basically, we're looking at almost even money.
Laying the 1.5. Shout out to the folks joining us in the live chat. We got Professor Chris in there, Have Cash, FB coach with a salute here right out of the gate. We appreciate you hopping in there. Hop below with which games you want to hear about. It seems like Drew, whenever we're doing these live shows, and if you want to see Drew's thoughts on the entire board, you can check out the Daily Diamond dropped here. Drew gets up early in the morning to run down the slate for you. That's how much he loves y'all. Check him out. Throw him a like here while we're hanging out. But every time we do these live shows, people are talking us into trying to bet the Brew Crew. They're visiting Pittsburgh tonight. Joe Ross on the mound. Drew, thoughts in that? I mean, every time they're telling me bet this team at plus money. Any thoughts here on the Brew Crew heading on the highway?
Yeah, actually, they made my card plus 115 is what I jumped on them. as the short dog. I mean, 14-6 on the year, so 20 games. They've won 14. They've been playing good baseball. I know Christian Yelich is a little bit banged up, but they've won 4 straight. And Ross, yes, he did get banged up his last time out, 4 innings, 9 hits, but I think he can come back here against a Pirates lineup and at least give us a decent start. He's going up against Jones, who's been good, Dan. 7 strikeouts his last time out, 0 earned runs given up. And he's a guy that kind of lights up the velocity gun, 98, 99 miles per hour. And we've seen, guys that throw really hard and they're coming off of a good start. The market really respects that, guys. And that's what I think we're seeing here with the Pirates at home being favored, at least last night. I don't have the lines in front of me, but minus $1.25. And Dan, this is a team that's lost 6 straight. So the team that's lost 6 straight is favored by 25 cents over the team that's won 4 straight. That always kind of catches my eye. I mean, with the Brewers, we get the better lineup, top 3 lineup in baseball by weighted runs created plus. Also against righties, they've been even better. So I think they're able to do enough. And another one where we get the bullpen advantage. So seeing that plus price with the Brew Crew, that made my card here, Dan, in the early slate of games.
Yeah, and the money just kept on coming here for Pittsburgh. I'm taking a look at the WagerTalk live odds screen, and even up to minus 142 in spots for Pittsburgh. And Drew said it there. That's the head scratching part of the equation is you just look at the direction that these two teams have been in. Pittsburgh with that insane hot start. Is that being priced in now? This number is, and then when the market hops on in, money all starts going towards them. Head scratching line move. Indeed. Hop below in the comments and let us know any thoughts on why we're seeing that move towards Pittsburgh, because Drew and I kind of in lockstep wondering what the heck is that all about. So hop below in the comments and let us know your thoughts. We also got some folks here in the chat. We talked about the Pittsburgh side of the equation. Yes, Mark, I have to mention the Philadelphia Phillies. They're on the road taking on Cincinnati. Ranger Suarez on the mound, but they will be without Bryce Harper this evening. Bryce Harper added to the paternity list as he's looking forward to the birth of his next child. So congratulations to him. But the Phillies hitting lineup will be missing one of those bats. Some folks saying they already hopped in on the Phillies money line. A lot of people thinking the first 5 in that one. The other way, plus 105 with Hunter Green on the mound for the Reds. What's your thoughts on that one, Zinno?
Well, one, I think the odds of that child coming out with a bandana and a mullet are pretty high for Bryce Harper. So there is that. But, Drew and I were together last night, and the first thing I saw with this game, and when I saw that 8.5, I said over. Look, the Reds have been over machines this year. Ranger Suarez of Philadelphia has been really good to start the season, no doubt about that. Now, do I think there's necessarily a ton of regression coming for him? Not really. I think I think if Cincinnati gets 2 or 3 off of him, they're in great shape. We certainly know that Hunter Green is a very feast or famine pitcher, right? For the most part, you either get like 6 innings of 1-run ball, or you get like 4 2/3 of 5 runs. Which is what I think an accomplished lineup like Philly can do here in a great American ballpark. And to back it all up here, Philly's one of the worst bullpens in baseball to start the year, guys. Like the Reds are going to have 9 at-bats here to help push this thing over. When you talk about team ERA for the bullpen, Dan, I hate to tell you, but you know who's dead last in bullpen ERA? Your Philadelphia Phillies, 5.78.
You don't have to tell me.
And second worst whip at 1.57. So, there's going to be opportunities for the Reds to score here. Both of these teams are accomplished lineups. I know there's respect for Ranger Suarez here, but I actually believe that that's keeping this thing at 8.5 instead of going to 9 or 9.5 here. But I like the over in this game.
So, Drew, I completely agree with his thoughts there as far as Hunter Green is concerned. You never really know what you're going to get against him or with him. So does that make you maybe think there could be some value in first 5? If you feel like Hunter Green would have a strong outing, is that maybe a potential way that you would look? That's one of the ways that one of the guys here in the chat, they already took the Reds. So maybe they're just looking for someone to make them feel better about their first 5 play. You got anything there?
I don't think I'm going to be that guy to make them feel better, but do appreciate the comments. Dan, I actually like the Phillies here. Got a minus 120, and I'm buying on Ranger Suarez. I mean, this guy has been absolutely money. Back-to-back starts, 0 earned runs given up, and a complete game shutout, 9 innings last time out. So I'm going to ride the hot hand with Suarez. Now, it's not that Green isn't a hot hand himself. He's another guy that lights up the velocity gun. But he is just 0-1 on the year, but really only one bad start, and that was against the Brewers. He gave up 6 earned runs. So like you talked about, I mean, he's kind of been feast or famine. And when you watch him pitch, he's a guy that, I don't know, man, he would be tough to hit off of for sure. One thing I have noticed with Cincinnati, though, Dan, is they're a team that is like hot or cold. You know, you look at their last 3 series, they swept the Angels, they got swept by the Mariners, and then they swept the White Sox. So it's kind of like they're either sweeping the series or getting swept, which I just found like a little bit interesting anyway. Overall, Dan, it's the Phillies for me. I mean, they've won 6 straight. They've won 9 of 11s. They've scored 31 runs their last 5 games. So that kind of speaks towards what Zinno was talking about in terms of runs might be there. Overall, I mean, another thing about the Phillies, though, Dan, is last year, I mean, your Phillies knocked my Marlins out of the playoffs, and they found something in the late innings. You know, they had a decent bullpen.
Good point.
Well, they went back a couple years. We remember them having terrible bullpens. Last year it was good. Well, they're back to being a terrible one. And I almost think through a few weeks of the season, you know, you are what you are. We're getting enough of a sample size here that it does worry me with the Phillies full game. That's what I bet, just because it was a better number. But it is something I'm watching, betting the Phillies. However, they did catch they did get my money here, minus 120, Dan.
Yeah, and even in some spots on the money line, we've actually seen Cincinnati get enough action that's pushed them. I mean, it's essentially, you're looking at more of like a pick 'em price, but minus 112, minus 108, the comeback for the Phillies on at least one of the books that I'm looking at here. One thing that I would say about first 5, and then we'll move on and talk and talk here about the Rockies game. We have some questions about that. The one thing I would worry about playing Cincinnati in the first 5 is, why would you take part of the equation of the Phillies bullpen out of your handicap or out of your bet? You know, like that's the part that you definitely want to factor in, because you kind of know what you're getting from that.
Phillies, you know? First 5, Dan, right? You don't. Yeah. I don't want to play Phillies, especially if Ranger Suarez is on the mound. Like, what you have to hope is he just shuts him down. Phillies scratch across 1 or 2, and that should be enough. I don't want any part of the Phillies bull, because remember, Dan, you know this, last year the Phillies bullpen started out as hot garbage for the first 2 months of the year. They were awful. Now they leveled off enough, you know, to get into the playoffs and everything else. And I suspect they'll do it again. But I'm not. I just, with the variance in bullpens, guys, the minute I can cut something in half and rely on a quality starter, and Dan, you can say if Ranger Suarez is a quality starter to this point this season, he's been. I'll cut the game in half and just run with Phillies first 5.
No, that's the thing with Ranger is I think early on he is always strong. You just never know how deep he's going to go. First 5 would not be the play for me in this one, honestly, either way. We have Anthony Marquez hopping in the chat. He says, parlay the Phillies money line with the over. So he thinks lots of runs, and he thinks the Phillies getting the job done. So if you're a parlay bettor, that's the one that Anthony is betting. The one bet that I wouldn't do, the last week you guys weren't on with me, but I gave out the Dan Philly homer parlay. I would not parlay the Sixers money line with the Phillies money line tonight. Sixers are a 6-point underdog, so not even this homer wearing his Sixers stuff. That's not going to be the play for me there, gentlemen. That's 255 on the comeback. If you want to bet that homer bet, plus 458. So that tells you all you need to know there, Drew.
What's it called again? The name of that little Philly special?
The Dan Philly homer parlay. Whenever there's Philly teams playing on the same night, you just bet a money line, and then you chirp me on Twitter and be like, why the hell did we bet this? Your teams suck. So that's
it's a great marketing thing, though, Dan. I'll tell you, like, living down in South Florida, the Hard Rock Bet is now going live. It's the only one and every now and again I'll get like a text message notification. It's like, bet the South Florida special. It's like parlay the Heat and the Marlins. I'm like, what the heck? Like, I guess it catches your eye, though, you know?
Yeah, they would probably love if they could do promos on my homer bets, because 9 times out of 10 they're probably not going to hit. So yeah, look for that sponsorship tie-in here. Hop below in the comments if you are parlay bettors. Hey, they're fun getting some of that plus money. What's the play for you tonight? Whether it's cross sport, whether it's same game like our man Thornhill, Air Duck in there, Philly Sox parlay, a little Boston and Philadelphia parlay. That's the thoughts for him. We are going to be talking the O's game later in best bets. So stay tuned for that one, Raven Ron. First, guys, Zinno, I'll get your thoughts. I heard about this one earlier on WagerTalk today, and you can subscribe here to the channel so you never miss when we go live. But the Padres and the Rockies, we had somebody hopping on WagerTalk today to make a case for the Colorado Rockies and their 5 wins on the money line. Gomber's on the mound for them. Cease opposes them. What do you think about that play, Mark?
Rockies money line. How about no? No, we're not doing that at all. I mean, if anything,
that's simple.
There is a much better case for laying the 1.5, which again, you don't always like to do, but given the juice on the run line here with San Diego, and the fact that the Rockies had a doubleheader yesterday, and their bullpen is spent, it's already bad enough to begin with. So a lot of things favor San Diego here. Now, San Diego doesn't hit lefties all that well from a batting average standpoint. Austin Gomber is a Gomber, whatever that means. But the Padres, what they do when they do hit lefties, they send the ball out of the ballpark. And what a better place to send the ball out of the ballpark than Coors Field. So, I think that you couldn't talk me in backing Austin Gomber ever. That's just the reality of the situation. The guy's got an ERA higher than a carton of eggs, and that's just too high.
Yeah, and the price only going up, as you well know on that. Hearing you talk, though, man, tired bullpen arms, Gomber on the mound. Yeah. I mean, Drew, we grabbed the 10.5 here over while we still can, right? Because I'm seeing some 11s. What do you think about the total in this one, Drew?
Yeah, I could definitely see some runs here. I mean, Zinno made the case. I mean, tough, and back in Colorado can be a little tough at this point in the season.
Yeah.
I guess if you wanted to make
Cease has been so good, Cease has been legit. The Padres bullpen in Mensa, come see, come saw kind of deal. But, Cease has been very good since coming over. In fact, the crazy part is I think he's only given up a total of 11 hits so far, but he has like 11 walks. Now, the Rockies are one of the lowest walk percentage teams in baseball. So if he can avoid those, he's going to be able to stay out of trouble. But Cease, to me, that's the problem with the over. Yes, it's Coors Field, and strange things can always happen, but it feels like you might be cutting out the first 3 or 4 innings of really any Rockies doing any scoring.
Dan, one thing, and I'm looking it up as we're going live here. I guess one of the good things about going live is I like to look at past performance of a pitcher, particularly when they're in Coors Field. And Cease only has 1 game started. He faced 24 batters, and it's right under a 1,000 team OPS against. So he's kind of struggled pitching in Coors. And this is one, guys, look, I'm not going up against Zinno, but if you want to make a case for the Colorado Rockies, you could go Cease's, past performance in Coors Field and kind of combine it with something here. And this is one of those not a lot of people are going to be looking at when betting baseball. But Colorado, this is only their second stand being at home. And it's the second series being at home, meaning they're used to the thin air, whereas San Diego coming from, sea level to a mile high, the ball does move differently. So just using those dynamics, I guess it could point you on the Rocks being at home. It's just tough to jump on a team that's 5-17 this season. Now, the plus price helps being at home, and the schedule spot, I think, is on their side, plus the fact that Cease in his 1 start has struggled. Those are the reasons to bet the Rocks.
Yeah, and also I saw some folks in the chat talking about, hey, any team totals in this one? Padres 6.5 for the team total juiced. Obviously to the under with a number like that, you can get plus 105 on the team total over. I can't do that. Even with a total like this, 6.5 runs, there's better bets on the board here. Speaking of which, one of them could potentially be betting on the Mets money line. That's what our man Gene Cross is doing tonight. One of the hottest lineups in baseball, he says. Also over on the shorts, we got Eddie checking in. He wants our thoughts with Quintana on the mound, Mets, Giants. So Drew, I'll swing it right back to you. Thoughts on this game?
Dan, my original thoughts, and this is one that I haven't bet, but the Mets are a bet-on team right now. They've won 6 of their last 7. This lineup, like you talked about, is hot right now. So I'm not looking to go up against the Metropolitans. And looking at San Francisco, this is a team, I've bet a couple times, won and lost on them. Under 500 on the season, just 500 at home. It is kind of that West Coast, late night special that a lot of people like to get down on, including myself. They just played Arizona at home, so they are staying at home. A tough one for me. It would be the Mets or pass, but I'm likely passing on this one.
Any thoughts for you on that one, Zinno? Or we also have some questions asking about the D-backs and the Cardinals. So would you like to tackle that one or the one prior before we get into some best bets here?
I'll just say, to me, it was a little surprising to see the Mets as hot as they are. I know they got smoked yesterday by the Dodgers, but they had won 5 in a row prior to that. And they may be a little bit undervalued, the Mets are at this point in time. They would be a team I'd play on. And Quintana is not bad. He did a good job of shutting down the Marlins. He hung with the Braves. So he's a guy that I would look to play on, especially in a hitter's ballpark. Like the Mets are used to playing in a hitter's ballpark at Citi Field. So there's a slight edge there. Arizona, St. Louis feels like an over. Like Lance Lynn's actually been a lot better than he was last year, but Brandon Pfaadt his pitches these days have been very Pfaadt, as in like over the plate and getting hit a ton. So I don't know if I'd want to back Arizona. I'd lean more towards an over here, just thinking both these teams are going to score because maybe Lance Lynn does start to regress a little bit to what he was last year. Yep. But I know Pfaadt was great in the postseason, but go look at his numbers during the regular season last year, guys. He sucked. Like, he was not good. I was shocked to see him in the rotation come the postseason because the guy had an ERA over 6. Like, he's a tough pitcher to back right now.
Yeah, big thanks to the questions. They are in the chat. Make sure you hit that like button and make sure you're subscribed here. You can check out Zinno alongside his man Brian Power on the new show Morning Wager. Check that out here on the WagerTalk YouTube channel. And always check out Drew running down the entire baseball card just for you with the Daily Diamond. More reasons than ever to be subscribed here to the channel. Guys, we got some questions coming in here about this Toronto and Kansas City game. So apropos, I'm going to throw it right back the way of who do we have in this one? Drew, was it you that wanted to chat here about the Toronto and KC side? Or is that my man Zinno?
That's me.
All right, so Zinno, Kikuchi, short road favorite. Is this the barking dog at home? Let the chat know.
Yeah, I kind of feel like the wrong team's favorite here. I mean, Brady Singer has been awesome this year. Just look at his numbers across the board. A 1.54 ERA, 0.86 whip. He's got 23 strikeouts in 23 innings. So he's been very good. And this is a Royals team that's 9-4 at home on the year. And, oh, by the way, Singer gets almost 8 runs of support per start, 7.57 runs per start that he's getting. Now, Kikuchi is a very solid pitcher. His home road splits are fairly even across the board, so you're not going to see much there. But you're also looking at a Kansas City team that is top 10 at home this year in batting average, OPS, and WRC+. That is not the case for the Toronto Blue Jays away from the Rogers Center. So they are a team that's at the bottom of the league in batting average on the road this year. 206 to be exact is their batting average. I think the wrong team is favored here. I'll take the Royals. This is a lineup that can score and score a lot. I like the Royals here taking plus money, chasing some plus money on the money line.
A WTF special, wrong team favored, and that must be the theme here, Drew, for our best bet segment, because the O's are making a trip out to L.A., finding themselves as a road dog. You think that might be a barking spot as well? Tell us why.
How about it? Late night special in Southern California. And give me the Baltimore Orioles, the most profitable team in Major League Baseball since opening day 2022, up over 60 units of profit out there, guys. To put that in perspective, $100 better is up over $6,000 just betting the Orioles blindly. And now they're getting plus price. I'm not stepping in front of that. We get Suarez, the 34-year-old Venezuelan, on the hill for the O's. In his first start this year, this is only his second appearance, he went 5 innings, 0 earned runs, a guy that hits 97, 98 miles per hour on the radar gun. He's up against the Angels here, which are a bottom 10 lineup by my numbers out the gate. Now, Detmers, he's the reason and Detmers is the starting pitcher for the Halos here. He's the reason that they're going off as the favorite. You got to respect him. His numbers are good. He already has 30 strikeouts on the year, all 4 starts, 1 earned run or 0 earned runs given up. Another guy that lights it up on the velocity gun. But really, he's going up against the Orioles lineup. This is the best lineup, in my opinion, he's going to have faced. Number 2 lineup in baseball by weighted runs created plus. They smash lefties. Overall, give me that plus money on the Orioles. I'm not stepping in front of them by any means here, Dan. So late night action, give me Baltimore as the underdog. The underdog is barking in Anaheim.
We love seeing some plus money. And if you've been riding with my man Drew Martin over the last 3 days, you've been at some nice plus money. 3 straight. He's got his first 5%er of the year rocking this evening. So you heard some of his favorite plays here on the board, breaking it down with you in the live chat. What is his favorite bet on the board? WT.buzz/DM to find that one out. And you can grab that for just today, or you can take advantage. It's the final day to get 10 days of all access for the price of 7. So you can get that right now at your favorite cappers page. Works at WT.buzz/MZ for my man Zinno. And of course for Drew as well, WT.buzz/DM. What's better than winning for 3 days? Why not win for 10? Some of these guys. Drew's best bet, he's going with Baltimore, getting the plus money price. And another barking dog, we got the Royals on the money line for Mark Zinno. Hop below and let us know what's your favorite plus money play today, and we will be seeing you next time. If you want more baseball breakdowns, don't have to go far. Check out the links in the description below here on the video. And want to keep on cashing? Stay right here. Click the video on your screen right this moment. Continue getting all that info you need to bet all the sports you love. It's what we do here at WagerTalk TV. Best of luck. We'll see you next time.